Right, so we've got a bit of an upgrade here. We've got a new soldering iron, which I'm going to unbox here and show you. So I've been using this fake Hakko FX-951 iron that I bought a couple of years ago now, I think. And it serves me very well indeed. So the things that this unit, this fake unit lacks that the real one actually has is firstly the sleep facility. There should be a jack on the back of here which would connect to the holder, and there's a mechanism on the real one where when you put the iron into the cradle like this, it drops down, activates the sleep sensor. There's none of that on this, which just is a horrible spray painted cast metal thing. And this being the other problem with the knockoff is the cradle. I had to fiddle with this cradle thing here, the holder, just to get the iron to kind of stay in it. It constantly wants to fall out. It's not great, but all that aside, the thing performed perfectly well. I wanted a T12 iron. When I bought this, I didn't really have the cash to spend $300 or $400, or even pounds actually, depending on where you get the thing from, on a genuine FX-951, but I was determined I wanted a T12 iron. The handle that was supplied with this thing as well was dreadful. It didn't look like this one. I couldn't actually use it until I'd bought another handle, but this one works reasonably well. Release the tips, no problem at all. I've had no problems with it. The only persistent issue, which is annoying with the thing, is that about half the time when you turn it on, when the base unit is heating up the iron, it starts to beep like crazy. The thermocouple warning, the heater warning comes on, and other times it'll be fine. Normally it should just beep when you actually take the tip out while it's running, but that's pretty annoying. And I put some tape over the buzzer, but the problem persists anyway, and it's just mildly irritating, but I got used to it. I bought the genuine Hakko tip cleaner because I don't like the sponge. Sponge is no use to me whatsoever, so that was a nod towards the genuine real thing. It's alright, I can't complain with this. It was about 45 quid, 50 quid, and of course I spend extra money on 2 new handles, and I spent 15 quid on this thing, and so it was probably, and tips as well, and of course it was getting up to about 100 quid of investment, but I think for £100 you couldn't really grumble too much, and it works. It's got the key. You have to put the key in to change the temperature, but I always wanted the real thing, and I can never see it for less than about 300 or 400 quid. So the other day I got an email from eBay saying that somebody had one for sale in the UK for 200 quid, £199.99 with free shipping. And it took me about 5 minutes to have a look at the listing and decide that yes, I was going to buy it. And it's barely used apparently, and it does appear to be the case that it's barely used. There's a set of tips. They're not genuine Hakko tips. I think for 200 quid with 10 tips that were genuine Hakko, I think it would have been an even more crazy deal, but I think a nearly new FX-951 for 200 quid is pretty crazy in itself. So I bought it and it's just arrived, so I figured we could open it up. This box is playing hell with the exposure, but never mind. So let's pull all this out of the box. So we've got our genuine Hakko tip and the interconnecting cable for the sleep sensor. We have got the thing for grabbing hot tips. Oh God.
I have given you a red hot tip.
I know, and there's nothing I can do about it now, is there?
Yeah, so you can grab your hot tip. These are the tips that came with it. There's about 10. These are not genuine Hakko tips, and nor would I expect them to be for this price. This is the sponge, which I won't be using. I'm going to transfer my old Hakko 599B tip cleaner to this unit. Here's the IEC cable. Oh, which has a screwed on plug. That's remarkable. That looks decent quality. Long time since I've seen a white plug. What else we got here? We must be nearly at the bottom by now. What else have we got? We've got the cradle. Now, we'll have a proper look at this in a minute. I'll put everything to one side so we can actually see what we're doing. And finally, we've got the base unit. There we are. The actual, genuine Hakko base unit. And you see it's got the thing on the back for the sleep sensor. So, let's get rid of the packaging. Nothing else in here, is there? Shouldn't be. We'll get rid of the sponge because I don't want that. We'll hang on to the tips. We'll get rid of this because I don't need this. Has it got the key in the front? Where the hell is the key? Have I got to use the old... Hey, don't say you forgot to put the key in. That's hilarious. Fortunately, I've still got the old key from the fake, otherwise I wouldn't be able to change the temperature on the iron. That's, oh no, there it is. There it is. Found it. There it is. That's the key. Without that, you can't do a damn thing. So, oh, phew. Close one. I thought he would have left it in the iron, but that could have got lost quite easily. So let's put all this away. Get it out of the way and have a look at what we've got. Right, so here is the holder. Now this, if we compare this to the other one, I mean, good God. So this is the knockoff cradle, and this is the real one. I mean, there's absolutely no comparison whatsoever, is there? Absolutely no comparison. They couldn't even get the colour right. But yes, this is the real one. The casting is more or less the same for where the iron goes in. But I've got a feeling that when I put this in, it ain't going to drop out. And it doesn't. It just sits there perfectly steadily. So there's something, even though the casting topically looks similar on these two things, that one, I mean, that kind of stays in. I think what the problem actually is probably the iron itself. This is the fake iron, this is the real one. I think that plastic lip on the end is actually bigger on the real one. And that's what allows it to sit properly in the holder. But I mean, there's just no problem at all with that. Absolutely perfect. Look at that. Beautiful. No problem. Now what happens when you put the iron in, this whole section here moves. In fact, actually get my arm out of the way. So that plate at the back moves. And it closes a switch, obviously, on the back here. You can see there's a little button. If you peer down that gap there, you probably can see it if I hold it just right. There's a little button, a momentary switch sort of thing down there, and that's what sets off the sleep sensor. Now, as I say, I'm trying not to get confused with what's what here. And I meant to put those in the box. These things that I don't need. Right, put the tips out of the way. And we've got now this will of course plug in, plugging like that, and that will plug into the back of the base unit like so. So there we've got our facility for sleep. So this is the base unit anyway, and let's have a look at, it's always useful to know what you're getting. And there's been quite a few videos comparing the fake unit with the real unit. Lewis Rossman did a bit of a teardown on the fake one, which is almost certainly identical to this. I'll put a link in the description. You can. It's not much point in me taking this apart. I have taken it apart to put tape over the buzzer and just check for various things. There was a nipped wire next to the transformer, which I just rerouted a bit, and it's apart from the fact that it might have a firmware bug in it, which maybe is the reason that it beeps all the time. There's not much difference. There's several ways you can tell straight away that this one isn't genuine. The moulding on the front is different. This curved elliptical lip here is shallower on the real one. The slot is a little. Was it higher up or is it the same height? I mean, the general dimensions of the case are pretty much identical. But another giveaway is this connector. The 8-pin connector, female connector. On the fake it's recessed like this. Now on the real one it's got this nice locking, well, this one is locking potentially. Sometimes the handles don't actually have the locking pin. This one's missing the locking pin, so it should push in and lock into the hole. Surely the there we are. So the real one, if you have a look, it's got the locking pin there, so when you push the iron into the connector it locks. You can hear it click, and then to pull it out you have to push the button down and then pull it back out again. But that'll also work in here. It will lock when you push it in. The plastic feels a little bit different, but it's the printing on the front here. They dare not put Hakko on the front of the fake one. You get various spelling mistakes and misprints and things. It just looks much nicer. Just the printing in general, everything's sharper on the real one. Look at the top, not much difference. We've actually got the switch on the right way around. The back, dead giveaway of course, because it doesn't have the wire for the sleep sensor. The feet on the bottom, these were supplied with the device. They fell off. I ended up gluing them on properly. The feet on the real one are tiny, but perfectly nice. The vents are a bit different. Yeah, the vents are a little bit different. And from the side, real and fake, there's not much to see. You'd be very easily fooled at first glance, but the quality of the plastic's nicer. It's sort of got a matte finish, whereas this is all sort of shiny and the printing's smeared, and it doesn't have Hakko written on the front. I mean, it's got Hakko written on right across there. I mean, it's a dead giveaway. So this is the genuine article. Weight-wise, they feel about more or less the same. Not much between them. And I dare say that the layout inside isn't that much different. I mean, I'll take this one apart. We'll have a look. I can't resist having a look. So this is the fake one that I've been using for a couple of years. What I did do, there was a... what would it be? Was it a regulator, I think it would be? Somewhere on this board here. Yes, the heatsink wasn't soldered onto the board, so I soldered that down. But I mean, it's actually quite nice inside. This is the fake, and there's nothing to complain about. There was a wire here was nipped against the front of the transformer. I taped that up to insulate it properly. Everything's properly grounded. Checked it all out, and I mean, it's fine. It looks good. But this damn buzzer, good God, well, that's just a pain. But really not that bad, quite well put together. So I suppose we could compare it with the real one. I can't resist comparing the two, I'm afraid. So this is the real one. Right, I'll pop that one open and we'll have a look and we'll see what the difference is. So there we go. Right, real on the left, fake on the right, and yeah, the layout is quite similar. The logic board at the front here is much bigger. It's curved and it fits the case properly. Transformer looks to be a nicer part in the real one, but I mean the general layout and the wiring is quite similar. This green wire here has got nicely routed in a little channel at the bottom. There's actually cutouts in the chassis just to make sure everything's routed correctly and doesn't get nipped when it's put together. There's none of that in the fake one. The connector on the back, it's fine, but this board is just evidently much higher quality. The soldering is very nice. No solder blobs. The fake is not bad. If the fake came with the sleep facility and a decent cradle, it would be hard to argue with it. But I mean, by the time you've bought the cradle and you've bought some decent tips, and so the only eBay seller who had this brand new wanted 420 quid for it. Which, so second, you just rarely see them second hand, but if you can get them second hand in good condition, that is a great way of getting good equipment. Now I'm going to try and put this back together without screwing it up. Why did I take it to pieces? I haven't even used it yet. So yeah, double. This is half price. Certainly, if you see it for that price, it becomes a no-brainer. It's just buy it. I'm sure you won't regret it. Now, of course, the problem with the FX-951 is the stupid push button, what Lewis Rossman calls the alarm clock interface, which is a very accurate description. You have to put the stupid key in the front and then start pressing star and to change the temperature. Absolutely crazy. It's the most unintuitive user interface I could possibly imagine, but that's the way it is. And truth be told, I don't really change the temperature that much anyway. I can't remember whether you can have presets on this iron. I'll have to read the manual at some point. Funny thing, the fake's got powder coated black screws, and the real one's bare silver. I mean, there's not really much point in even comparing the performance of the fake and the real one, because the fake one is powerful. There is no problem with heat delivery. I've had no issues with it whatsoever. I haven't measured the temperature, but most of the time it's on 450 degrees unless I'm doing something really delicate which is liable to get damaged. So I think what we'll do is we'll dismantle all this and put this handle in the drawer. Put the screwdriver away because I've finished with that. Now I want to salvage this tip cleaner. There we go, let's get that out of the way. Now I stuck this down because it doesn't actually fit in the thing. It's some plastic sticky pads. There we go. Right, so I'll give that a clean out. Aha! That's how to do it. So this should now pop into there, and it does, it fits like a glove. Right, now the handle, this is the real handle, and the mechanism for changing tips is exactly the same as on the fake one. You nip these little clips in, pull that out, and the tip should come out. It's very tight now actually. There we go, it comes out that way. And of course this is the conical tip that I'll never use. And I did treat myself to something else as well. I thought, why not? If we're going to go in all in on the professional gear, I bought this tip holder, which is a heavy lump of blue painted metal with holes in it. 15 quid for this, but there we go, genuine Hakko part. Yes, there we go, Hakko, the real thing. So this is for our tips to go in, and they'll all sit in like that and make tip changing very, very easy indeed. So let's have a look to see if they've got a BC2, which is my favourite one. I've got a whole reel of stuff here. Right, so what we've got 10-in-1 package. Oh, that's very nice. Well, that looks pretty much what I'm after. Let's have a look at this one. I think this is it. This is BC2. BC2, right, that's it. This is the one I'll use 90% of the time. Put that in there like that. There we go. And there, that's it. We're good. See what other tips they've given us. What have we actually got? A nice chisel one, which is just falling out the end here. That is a key tip. I'll use that. This is very good for getting RF modulators off Ataris. What else have we got here? D24. It's like a chisel, flat-ended chisel tip. Another conical tip. a narrower B tip, C1, sorry, that's nice, I'd use that one. J tip, yes, brilliant, the J tip. I've always wanted the J tip and I never got one. I can imagine that being quite useful for maybe drag soldering or something, I don't know. I usually do it with the BCO too, but yeah, we'll see. So we'll pop that in the potentially most used tips. There we are. What else? Where did we get up to? So yes, that was the C tip, that one, the one we've just taken out, a big bevel tip there, and the last one is another kind of conical tip which I'll probably never use. Yeah, it's a nice selection. So we can pop all those eventually into the tip holder and that'll be completely fantastic. So let's give it a try. We've got a motherboard somewhere. I mostly work on old Atari stuff, so let's have a look at some Thru-hole stuff. Do you have an old machine lying around that you can't get to work and you just want to use it but you're up the creek without a f***ing pedal? Well, don't worry about it, just head on down to atari8.co.uk today and fill in the f***ing form. We'll get back to you as soon as we possibly can to give you a quote and tell you how to send the machine up here so we can have a look at it and hopefully get it fixed. We operate a no fix, no fee model, so if I can't do anything with it, you don't have to pay a f***ing thing. We do upgrades, repairs, almost any kind of job you could possibly need. So head on down to atari8.co.uk today and tell us what the problem is and we'll do our best to help you out. What the f*** are you waiting for? Alright, let's switch it on, see what happens. Can't see the display, that would help. There we are. And it's heating up, and it's not beeping. Fantastic. Complete silence. What's he got it set to? 350. That's it's ridiculously cool. I think this just interrupts some sort of photoelectric there we go. More my kind of thing. Up. That's it. And it's up to temperature. You know what? I think this is measurably better than the fake. It's just, I know I'm not doing anything particularly fancy. Just taking these little components off this board here. But my God, it is I can just feel it. It's so nice that the heat is just piping straight into the board. It's absolutely superb. I'm gonna love this. I do think it's better. I should really take the time to measure the tip temperature, but I think it's just that's no problem at all. I mean, these thick lugs here, I shouldn't really use this tip for this, but just look at it. It's fantastic. I mean, look at this. It's immediately melting that solder, no problem at all. It is fantastic. I love it. It is better. I can tell it's better than the other one. It just feels nicer. The tips are probably better quality as well, for all I know. So for some reason I lost audio during this part of the recording, but what I did just to do another test on the iron was grab a 2014 MacBook Pro motherboard that's dead out of the cupboard, and I just took one of the big caps off the board. These are 10 layer boards, probably. They sink an enormous amount of heat. You really need a powerful iron to work on these things, and just added a little bit of extra solder. And as you can see, the thing came right off. Normally you'd use hot air on this anyway. In fairness, the fake iron behaves similarly well with jobs like this, but yeah, behaved great, no problem. So I am absolutely over the moon with this purchase, as you can imagine, £200. I always wanted this particular iron. You can certainly, yes, you can get the TS100, is it the TS80 as well. These hackable irons, that they're a lot cheaper than this one, a lot more advanced and probably easier to use for all I know. But I don't care for having the controls on the handle. I like a base unit. One of the reasons that I always wanted it is because Lewis Rossman uses this same iron. Well, I started watching him in 2016, I think it was, and I was immediately captured by the just the whole thing that he was doing. And it is Lewis Rossman who inspired me to make YouTube videos about repairs, and it's Lewis Rossman who inspired me ultimately to make a business for myself, fixing and upgrading technology. I always wanted the same stuff that he had because it works for him. He was working on MacBooks primarily. Very occasionally I do, but I'm hoping to branch out more and more into this because I really need to in order to keep things sustainable here. So as usual, I have to apologise for the lack of videos lately. It's just one of those things. There's environmental issues, time issues, all kinds of things conspiring to either make me feel like I don't want to make videos, or that I can't make videos, or I just don't have the time. I'm struggling for space in this room. I had to tidy the place up just to make this video, but I really wanted to do this one because I'm so pleased to have finally got this iron. We want to move house this year if possible, and I hope that wherever we end up I've got more space, because it's really getting a problem now. So really things are a little bit up in the air. I don't want to invest an enormous amount of time in this space when we might leave it anyway, so I don't know. So it's very difficult, but regardless of that, I want to thank everybody who has supported me in any way at all. A few people did sign up to Patreon. I appreciate that, but as usual I feel bad when I'm not making videos. And I have had some very generous donations, primarily in lieu of firmware for Atari 8-bit equipment in the past couple of months. One of them was exceptionally generous, and the guy had donated before. I won't name him here, but it took my breath away anyway. And I mean, to put it this way, it would have almost paid for this iron on its own, which is just incredible. And I thank everybody who offers me support like that. And I thank everybody who watches the videos, likes them, shares them. The channel has definitely taken a dip lately, but I can't really blame anybody but myself, because I'm just not making sufficient content. And I think you get penalised for that on YouTube, just as you get penalised if you make too much content or the wrong kind of content. It's very difficult nowadays, and it kind of a domino effect, because when the views drop, you feel less like making videos, when in fact the thing to do might be to make more videos, but you need a tremendous amount of determination to actually think like that. So we'll just have to see how it goes. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I can't wait to use this iron on the job that I'm working on at the moment, which is an Atari 800 with an Incognito and a Sophia 2. I've had to buy an angle grinder just to cut the slot in the Faraday cage, so it's a real job and a half. I want to try and document the sort of tail end of that job, and I'll be using this iron on it, and I can't wait because it's a pleasure to use. So that should be the next video, and it should be, hopefully it'll be within a week. I'd love to do one video a week. That was the target. It was always the target, but I really fell short of that, but never mind. So anyway, I've rabbited on enough, I'm sure. I do talk too much, and I tend to write too much. That's just me. But thank you very much for watching, and thanks for your support, and I will see you in the next video.